Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grimreaper coming at you for another video of Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourselves, and hopefully having a great start to the week, wherever you are. We're back on my account today, and we're going to be talking about, in today's video, a very interesting subject, one I haven't covered yet. I wanted to get some knowledge about this topic before we speak about it. So, let's talk about gemstones. Gemstones are recently been added to the game. I haven't done a video yet because, like I said, I want to have a stronger knowledge about these stuff that's been added to the game. So it's going to be a long video. I'm going to go into detail what champions I would probably look to bring this on, and you can also let me down in the comments what other champions you would like this on and why. This will be really useful, and it's really interesting information as well. I always learn something when I do these type of videos, and it really helps me, especially with me doing takeovers, etc., to kind of get people to that next line when it could be quite tight. So get yourself some coffee. I've got my coffee here. Get your feet up, get me on that TV, and let's talk about gemstones. So the other day I dropped a video talking about relics and etc. I haven't dropped a video talking about the new relics yet, and to be honest, it's going to be a while before I drop a video on them relics because no one's going to be able to access them for about 6 months, and most likely a lot of them relics will be out of date by the time we're able to assess them. So it's a bit of a bummer that player will have to not think, but you know that's new. We've been playing this game for 5, nearly 6 years now, and they do the same all the time. So let's talk about gemstones. We're going to start with circulars. We have a lot to cover. A lot of them are very similar as well. So let's start with the popular ones, which are circle ones. These are ones I'll use the most and have the most. I'm going to try and say what champions I use them on as well, if I have access to them as well. So I obviously do Ultra Nightmare Chimera. I did a new Chimera team this week, completely more trials. I doubled my trials basically in that video, so go ahead, check that out. I will pin that up above here as well. It's really decent video. No mythicals, no G-Nut. Yeah, avoid legendary, but you know, it can be replaced, and we'll talk about it in the video as well. So let's start with probably the strongest one, Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer is has been data mined, and a lot of some of this information has been data mined. So I will kind of go into that. And the Boss Slayer has been looked at, and it has also been confirmed that it does stack with each other. So Boss Slayer, 10% more damage is really useful, and it's really probably one of the best gemstones in the game. Obviously, this is a boss, so it wouldn't work in P versus P, but it would be great on people like Rathless Blade Master, Ninja, anyone with enemy max HP as well, which could be quite good. This could be quite good in Hydra as well, with anyone that does a lot of damage. For example, Trunda, I guess this would work on, and stuff like that. So there is that as well, but you have to think that there is a damage cap at some point. But I think this bypasses the damage cap. I would need to test this myself, but I'm pretty sure it does bypass the damage cap because it's like a damage increase from that. So Boss Slayer, really useful. Boasted defense ignores 12%. Sorry, ignores defense effects are 12% less effective against the wearer. I actually own 2 of these, and I think I only own 3 mythical gemstones, and I have 2 of these ones. So I'm using one on Narcissus because I use them in Go Second Team, and I have one on Queen and Cora as well. Obviously, my Queen and Cora is very tanky with good defense and good HP, and I use these in the arena. Now, this could also be very good in P versus E content for bosses that ignore a certain amount of ignored defense. Basically, it cuts down the half of the defense from my understanding. And again, this would also stack as well, which is really useful, make you quite more tanky for sure. So again, I think once you complete so many bosses against a Chimera, for example, so not bosses, when you complete so many trials against Chimera, he will ignore 25% target defense of all of your champions. This could help mitigate that damage, and I can actually do that now because I've got to a point now where I'm doing like 9 to 11 trials on my account, and I could look at using this one to bring that ignore defense back up for my team. So that could be a good one to be useful. And there is a few bosses that I like that. There's a few faction war bosses. Obviously, we know we're going to get some faction war content at some point as well. Really, really useful there. Every time this wear it, so we got undead bulk work, a bit like the mastery. Every time the mastery, every time the wearer is revived, decreases all incoming damage by 10%, stacks up to 30. So obviously you need to revive your champion 3 times. I think this would be very powerful gemstone. If this was to stack, I'm not too sure if this one stacks because I didn't get any information on it. But if this was to stack, and if probably would stack because the rest of the gemstones do generally stack as well. That could be a 60%. Obviously, you would need to revive 6 times, right, to kind of make that work. This would be good in the arena on like a revive champion if you're running multiple revivers. They could make you really, really solid. Mariska, this would be probably one of the strongest candidates on her. Someone like Star Sage, for example, or a tanky nuker as well, like a Taurus. This could be really, really useful because, or like a Narcissus, because if you revive them, then you can increase their undead bulwark and really, really useful. Now, I do have this. I use this on my Dutches. I haven't really seen this come into play because normally live arena fights, which is what I do mainly, don't come into effect. Again, for PvC content, it would be a interesting one. I guess maybe for new accounts and stuff like that, it will really work and be useful for me. I don't run that many revivers in PvC content, so there is no really use for me for that. But I can definitely see it being a very powerful gemstone if used correctly, for sure. Every time this wearer, so we have a bloodthirst prowess. I don't have this one. Every time the wearer kills a enemy, increases their damage by 10%, stacks up to 30%. So killed enemy 3 times. Obviously in PvC that's quite common. And then normally you deal with revivers. This is a very powerful gemstone for like Sigford, for example, because he can reset his own abilities, come around. Marius, it could be very powerful. Any type of nuker, this would be very, very powerful gemstone. And again, it would stack as well. So you give yourself 60% and it would be insane. So any type of nuker for PvP, even PvE, I guess, would be useful. So I know it wouldn't work for PvE because it would have to kill a enemy. And I guess wave aid clears actually would, but like against bosses, etc., it wouldn't do anything. So for like Doom Tower wave aid clear, Curse City could be really useful as well. And then I guess that's the type of content you can stack that pretty quickly as well if you're lucky enough to get that. A fairly interesting gemstone for sure. Puppet Master. Puppet Master gains a additional 30 accuracy when attempting placing stun and etc. Again, Mephala Lifebane. Mephala Lifebane with the petrifications. A lot of people use her. A lot of people use Armads with the stuns, which is really, really useful. A lot of people are in building for about 500 accuracy. So if you can get your accuracy up really nicely, then yeah, it would be really useful. I don't think you could use this. You could use this with the Buckle Journal, which is a very powerful rare relic, which again I talk about in the video. But you couldn't use this with the relic that I normally use, which is Death Bow, which I like Death Bow, and it's a triangle one, which is a bit of a shame because that had really nice synergy. But you could definitely just like put on a rare one and then just use the gemstone for sure. A very powerful gemstone for sure. Probably one of the most powerful ones out there. Uncontrollable, which is basically the same as Puppet Master, but he's going to give you resistance. I do have this on one champion. I think I put this on, UDK, right? So my UDK is built with high resistance, and I'm trying to, with like 820 resistance, and I put this on, and again, it's very, very useful. And I just upgraded a rare relic to level 3, which I'll use at some point as food. So really, really strong gemstone for sure. Explosive debuffs placed by this wearer deal 10% more damage. This is obviously bombs. Bombs are really meta right now. So most people would be using this with Verbalore, which is probably like the most common bomb you would see. Second of that would be Commonus. I don't use this on my Commonus. I do own this. I don't use this on Commonus at all, unfortunately, which is a bit of a meh, if I'm being honest. But again, very, very useful for Arena. I use this on Verbalov. I actually use a different one on Commodus, which I'll talk about in the future as well in this video, which will be interesting. This wearer deals with 10% more damage in dungeons. Anyone that's basically clearing waves would be really, really useful. This could be quite interesting on Seer if you're struggling to kill the waves. I'm pretty sure this would work. I haven't tested it. I do own this, but I'm not using it anywhere. Very powerful Sigford or anyone with surplus damage. Potentially, you could use this with Sungwong. 10% damage is a lot of damage. You could try use this with Sungwong for the Queen event, right? The Queen tournament event, trying to nuke her with the surplus damage, which could be really, really useful. Very niche, but again, could be useful for sure. Circular gemstone, bosses, sorry, inflicting. If I say anything wrong, by the way, on the names, I apologize now. It's just dyslexia for you. Bosses deal 5% less damage to the wearer. So again, a bit like a undead bolt work, but again, P versus E gemstone. Anywhere with like Chimera or Hydro that you're struggling, and if you own this, again, just even if you don't have a great relic, just put that relic on so you could use the gemstone for sure. It's very cheap to remove the gemstone from the relics. Just don't destroy them. It's kind of pointless to destroy them. You've got lots of space, and it's really, really solid gemstone for sure. Again, I don't own this one, so it's one of the ones. So destructive accuracy, I think I pronounced that right. The wearer ignores 5% of the target's resist when placing a poison, HP burn, and bombs. So I actually have two of these, and I can confirm that this does stack. I've tested this. I'll actually face a really good live arena player, Buggies. He has extremely high resistance, and I wasn't using accuracy up. He basically thought he was going to resist my bombs, but because Commoners already ignores 20% resistance against the allies, and then I was able to get two of these, which gives me a 30% ignore resistance. I landed the bombs on him with no problems and was able to finish him off quite quickly. Did catch him off guard. He probably will ban Commoners next time because he knows I'm running this, and it does stack with the ignore resistance. I think he was running like 900 uh resistance or 800 or something like that, and my communist only has like 571 accuracy, and then with the ignore resistance, which would give me roughly around about 650 to 700, I believe, in accuracy terms, which is quite interesting. Obviously, you have that rule of thumb between the 30 resistance and accuracy as well. So target finder, very, very useful. This will increase accuracy by 5 when a enemy debuff placed by this wearer stacks up to 40%. Interesting one. I don't think this is as great as the last one we're talking about. It's only like 5 accuracy when you get resisted on a debuff. So for PvP, I can't see it being that useful because normally PvP fights are over quite quickly, so you won't have time to stack this. Again, you could just put on for PvP for like Chimera and Hydra. There isn't really much to really play with that or say about this one. It's kind of a bit underwhelming from what I'm reading on that as well. The wearer deals with, foe killer. The wearer deals 5% more damage against enemies with full HP. So again, at the start of a PvP fight, you've got Marius coming in. You've got two of these on Wonder Staff. I think this is what we have on him. And he's going to do 10% more damage, which is really good because Marius doesn't have like the highest of multipliers. So he really needs some help for sure with that. Let's use this on like hack layers, etc. And yeah, really solid for damage dealers for sure at the start. It is worth noting that there is better gemstones for damage, but at the start of arena fight, very, very useful. I guess this would work in Hydra because you have full HP all the time. so you could use it in there. But Chimera, for example, I don't think this would work in Chimera, because if he's not at full HP, then you don't actually benefit from this, from my understanding. Same with Clan Boss as well, and obviously Boss Slayer would be a lot better as well to use. But Boss Slayer is a mythical, so you could definitely use it as a replacement in the right content. Again, against like Queen, if you're trying to use surplus damage, you could definitely use it in there as well. So there's some options for sure. So we have the circle critical bolster. This wearer's defense will increase by 1 time when they receive a critical hit, stands up to 10 times. A very interesting one. This could be used on Go Second champions. This is a rare one, so you can get tons of these. Go Second, a lot of the rare relics as well give you circular, so you could just use it for that. Really, really useful in P versus E and P versus P. Some of the bosses do crit as well, like Chimera, for example, Sand Devil Shogun as well. You could try maybe put this on a Queen, like a what do you call a Godseeker Nori, to release the damage mitigation. That could be useful. It wouldn't work as well. It's definitely a P versus P more focus gemstone, but it could have its uses in P versus E. And then we have force, so where it increases by 3% of each accuracy. Obviously, I use this all the time. A very good gemstone, not crazy good, but a very good gemstone. Can be useful, and someone like Marius, for example, quite good. Armads as well, which should be useful. A lot of people use Armads. Lady M, for example, very basic, and you don't need like a ton of a degree to understand that one for sure. Terminator decrease effects are 10% less effective on a swearer. So you could use this a little bit to kind of help against champions like Lysandra, who are decreasing your turn meter. Now, I don't believe this will work against Almads, from my understanding, because Almads is, I guess it would work against Almads because it's stealing your turn meter, which is a turn meter effect. So again, maybe this would actually work against Almads. My understanding it wasn't working because it was a steal and not a decrease, and that is the way that I was understanding. I could ask Plarium to get the answer on that. I'm not too sure. It again is very, very useful. A lot of people use Lysandra. They use Eagle Eye, for example, to drop back your turn meter. Queen and Cora and King on the revive also decreases your turn meter. So anything like that could help you counter that. And sometimes when they do these stuff, um, it can really screw you over and make you lose the fight, right? Especially if you're about to finish them off, the revive Narcissus, boom, it's night, right? It's happened to all of us. I really enjoy this one. This is probably one of my favorite rare gemstones. I need more of these. Turn meter increase effects are 10% more effective on the wearer, which is really, really useful. You can stack this with the journey as well, which is the rare relic that you should be using for speed tuning to make your speed tuning way, way easier. Definitely um, probably the best one when we're talking about relics in general. Sorry, for rare relics that we can access quite easily right now. This is again stacked with that, so this is really, really useful for that ability. All right, Troy, I'm going to talk about the triangle ones. Hopefully this video is not going too long for you guys. I just really want to cover this all in one video. So we are going to talk about extra punishment now. Extra punishment, the wearer deals 20% more damage against enemies under stun, freeze, etc. So this would be a really good synergy for any of your nukers who are teamed up with your Armands. Now there is a mastery similar to this where it will increase your damage if your enemies are under like a stun and etc. I normally will take that mastery because I use Armads a lot in my teams. And then again, I get for like arena, any type of nuker like Sigford, Marius could have that good opportunity. If you're using Torment a lot for this meta, for example, the freeze would be really, really useful. You could even probably put this on like a Torment to increase its damage if you can get like the right relic to put that on. I kind of hope I do get this gemstone. Again, if you're not using Armads, etc. too much, then it doesn't actually do anything. Like if you're using Go Second Team Champions a lot, this wouldn't do much for you guys. But again, you can use this in PvE content as well. Against Wave Bait clear, like Doom Tower and Curse City, etc. as well, depending on your teams. It wouldn't really work against bosses. I guess with Provoke Head, if you provoke him, maybe you get more damage on him there, but that's about it. A very, very niche one. So double down. When attacking targets under the CC buffs defaults with their default skill, this wearer has 10% chance to repeat the attack once. So like a built-in Slayer set, basically. Could be very useful on AoE champions like Marius. Again, if you get the Cat Blaze, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you get two triangulars, so you can definitely really spice it up. For example, I use the Wand of Submission, so I can't really play that as effective. I had it, I actually don't have it, so it's one of them ones. But yeah, it could be very, very useful. Anyone with AoE on A1, very, very strong. Marius can do some stuff with his A1. Consistent onslaught. This wearer has a 8% chance of gaining an extra turn after killing an enemy. This is going to be very powerful on any nuker that you want to really play. Again, I would put this on AoE nukers, because on the A1s, because you would have a higher chance of prockiness, and this could be a really powerful one on Marius. Probably one of my favorite ones for Marius if you're going to use the relic with a triangle one on it. And I definitely could take into consideration of using that as a really powerful one. That is definitely going to be ones I want personally. So, and then this where, sharpened ripe straw. I can't pronounce that. The wearer deals 50% more damage when counter attacking. This is going to be very powerful. Marius, again, for that A1, you can definitely spice up a little bit with this, or just run two of these if you're lucky enough to get that, or something like this as well to increase the damage a bit more. Really, really powerful. Marius, really powerful on champions who have a strong hitting hard one like Candy. You could use this on what's his name, the Barbarian Mythical, who has like a free hit on A1, very, very powerful. Piercing Strike, after killing a enemy, the wearer's next attack will ignore 12% of the target defense. Wow, that is going to be a interesting one. Now, if you think about it, if they survive and they revive, and then someone like Sigurd, for example, where you could get a like nearly instant turn if you do the A2 into A3. This could be really powerful because like you've got the Savage set, you've got ignore defense on his kit, and then you have probably a relic of some sort with extra increased defense, and then you put this and it can stack as well. Oh, that's gonna be nasty, and any type of damage dealer for sure. I mean, there's a lot of good damage dealers in the game now where these could be very powerful. Anyone with extra turn mechanics as well, like a Rhodus, very lethal. I would love this for my Rhodus for sure. Okay, critical strategy increases the damage wearer by 10% for each enemy those HP is at 50 or lower. This gets a bit later on in the fights in PvP, but in PvE this could be really, really useful because PvE generally have like a longer duration of the fight, so this would be more seen and kick in more consistently in these type of fights. I guess this could work against like Chimera if you wait for the Chimera to lose 50% of his HP, say with Clan Boss. I guess when you start knocking the heads back in Hydra, after the 50% mark, you would increase your damage there. Could be very useful in PvE. There's definitely better contenders for PvE. But again, like the mythicals, the chances you getting them will be very difficult. So you might just want to stick with that as for the time being, and you're more likely to probably get this than the boss layer for sure. Rolling force, when using multiple hit skills, each consistent hit after the first one, the damage will ignore 5%. This would be really strong on Quintus, for example. The live arena champion has a free hitter. Catrixia has a not Catrixia, sorry, Catraxa has a full hitter on a one. So things like this, I would love this for Fire Knight. I use Catraxia all the time on the for the A1. This would be really, really useful. I would ignore more target defense. Catrax is a funny one because she ignores a lot of target defense anywhere on the A1, and you can build her up to raw damage very, very quickly on that A1. Could be a bit of fun as well for Arena, not competitively, but a bit of fun as well. There's definitely a lot of champions that this could be useful for sure. Attacking Press. This where has a 8% chance to reset a skill cooldown if they kills an enemy, happens once per turn. Powerful for Marius, right? Like you'll see me talk about Marius a lot because everyone can access Marius. He's one of the best boss slayers in this game. He's one of the best nukers in this game. Probably the most powerful login, free champion you can access in this game right now in P vs P and P versus E. This guy is an absolute monster of a champion, and this could be really useful. He also gets extra turns in his kit. You can definitely get this proc in at like 16%. This is basically a copy and paste of a refresh accessories, but basically giving you a gemstone form. Again, very, very strong. There's definitely like a lot of good contenders here, and you could spice up your gemstones. My recommendation as well is don't actually use like two gemstones together, similar, and stack them. If you can put two triangles together, spice it up a little bit, it'll really catch your enemies off guard and give you some RNG back on your side for sure. 8%, I can guarantee you will feel like more of a 30% chance as well with Plarium's numbers. Strike, that's the best way we're going to pronounce that one. When attacking an enemy, increases the wearer's critical rate by 5, each active debuff on this wearer. I mean, it's it's one of them ones. Damage dealers always have 100% critical rate, so it doesn't actually do anything there. I don't know why you would build not 100% critical rate. It would make no sense for me whatsoever. I wouldn't put this on champions that can do debuffs as well because I think there's better gemstones out there already. So for me, that's a bit of a pass. Let me know about that one. It's probably one of the ones. It's probably the first one I don't actually see a lot of use for being honest. Um, Target smash, the wearer damage increases by 1/100 of the total accuracy. Okay, so a very niche one then. Could be a very, very useful one for champions like Carnage, right? We all can access Carnage at some point of Curse City. You know, it'll take you 2 or 3 years to get him for sure if you're not clearing Curse City regularly. So you got plenty of time to pick up this gemstone for him. I know you don't want to hear that, but that is just reality of Raidshadowlegends, or Wait Shadowlegends as we call it. But yeah, this could have some use. I guess Maris as well. You build an accuracy into him as well. So, like for example, most people build about 350 accuracy for Marius or 200. This will give you 2% more damage. There's definitely better gemstones out there, but I think for like me, I would probably put this on Carnage and then make more value of the better gemstones on other champions that can benefit from it as well. Most damage dealers have around about 100 to 200 accuracy as well. If you have like a max Great Hall, so you could just use it for a bit of extra damage for sure. It still would be better than ones against like Shield Breaker when you're relying on to have a shield. If they don't have a shield, then you ain't getting anything at all. So this is still way more consistent. When using, we have unreleasing power. When attacking with multi skills, each hit after the first one will deal 5% more damage. It's like a worse version of the one that we spoke about earlier, which would be this one. just it's not ignoring the defense, it's just doing more damage. So it's one of them ones. Strike, quick strike. So quick strike, if the target has taken a turn, if the enemy has not taken a turn yet, the wearer will deal 10% more damage. Attack will deal 10% more damage. Again, a bit similar to the other ones that we mentioned earlier at the start of the round. In arena would be great. In PvP content, so PvP content at the start of the round. After that, doesn't really do anything. So it works a bit differently actually, from my understanding. If they're not took a turn yet, so the enemy has to not take a turn, and then you can do that. So kind of this situational where you would use it for sure. Unbowing might. This where it increases 3% for each debuff that they are under, stacks up to 30. A bit niche. More of a PvP one. I think there's definitely better gemstones here from a rare setup. You know, if you're going first, it wasn't really work. Maybe if we go second, DPS champions, if you've got nothing better to take, I guess. Precision defense. The wearer will ignore 3% target defense. If they're under 2 or more debuffs. Again, very similar. Interesting. This wearer deals 5% more target damage under a shield, which is place each buff on the target. Oh wait, the wearer deals 5% more damage to the targets under a shield buff per each buff on the target. Right, okay, so I guess this would be like a 20% more damage, if I'm not mistaken. This is an interesting one. It's very powerful as a rare one. This is probably one of my favorite rare ones, to be honest. Out of the triangle ones, it's very, very strong, and you could definitely use this until you got something a bit better, and then just move this around. There's a lot of shield champions. Obviously, bolster set is coming back surely on a certain champion, especially with the bomb meta as well. A lot of people are using bombs, so bolster to try and do that. So again, champions like Marius could be very powerful. This one doesn't really do anything. I actually put this on Marius, and you can see it actually works quite a bit against the Sand Devil, etc. But against everyone else, doesn't really do anything in the arena. It's not impactful enough, and you have to hit extremely hard for this to work. So it's a bit one of them ones. There's definitely better gemstones out there for sure. Well, we're half an hour through the video. We still got to talk about 2 or 3 more gemstones. So I guess I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna do a part 2 to this because it's a very, very long video, and I don't really like uploading after that. And it's a very thirsty work for sure. So we'll talk about the other gemstones in the other video. I don't want this to be an 1 hour and 30-minute video. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the knowledge and the power of the video for today. Hopefully it helps you go forward. I'm using a lot of these gemstones as well. We'll just show you quickly what gemstones I'm using on what champions. So you can see here we've got the bolt work one. You can see here, like on Commodus, for example. Sorry, not Commodus. This one here is quite useful. We have that gemstone, which we didn't cover in today's video. We have this one, which we'll talk about this. Actually, we put this on Narcissus, but I actually moved to Necrid because we actually give Narcissus a different one. And you can see here we're using this one here as well. So there's definitely a lot of use there for sure. You can see there is a couple of triangle ones here as well. This needs to come off Sigford, but I've actually run out of materials for that. So yeah, interesting one for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. As usual, I appreciate you guys watching until the end, and please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.